Welcome back to Telltale Books and another video review of a book that I've recently finished reading. This time, another Stephen King and another buddy read with Samantha, Needful Things. Needful Things is kind of after, it was published kind of after Stephen King's first great period where he wrote a lot of his classics like The Shining and Cujo and Firestarter. And Needful Things came along in 1991. And it's a first edition, but I don't think it's first printing. I think it's a later printing, but it's a nice hardcover of the first edition, and it's called The Last Castle Rock Story. The basic synopsis is one that's kind of familiar, actually. The idea of a strange character coming into town, opening up a shop. We've seen this in a wide variety of fantasy, horror, even science fiction stories. We see something not too dissimilar from this in H.G. Wells' The Magic Shop. And we see something even closer to what Stephen King wrote here in Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, which I would say, if it didn't inspire Stephen King to do this book, I would say it still is so close to what Stephen King did that it bears reading both to compare the two of them. Something Wicked This Way Comes, of course, is a classic, and it doesn't get nearly as gruesome as what Stephen King gets in this book. And I'll throw that out right at the beginning. If you have a problem with descriptions of how people are getting killed or beat up, he doesn't pull any punches here. He goes and really describes in detail. So if you got a problem with that, this is not a book for you. But if you don't mind that, what happens then in Needful Things when Mr. Gaunt opens his store Needful Things in Castle Rock is people are curious and they want to see about it, but when they go in, he has the exact thing they've been looking for their whole lives. You know, in one case it's a baseball card, in another case it's Elvis's sunglasses. And these people are sold these items at extremely low monetary cost, but it comes with a catch. They have to do a prank on somebody else, and Mr. Gaunt tells them exactly what to do. It's usually something simple like dropping off an envelope, and inside the envelope is a note that then really upsets that person. Okay, so Mr. Gaunt is going through this, you know, everybody that comes into the shop and orchestrating pure mayhem in Castle Rock so that you have all these people mad at each other for no real reason, because the thing that was supposedly said or done in the note in the envelope it's a lie. But these people don't know it, and they assume it's true, and so then they go after the person who supposedly left the envelope, who of course never did any such thing and knows absolutely nothing about it, and everything just explodes. It becomes pure mayhem. Literally, the whole town, you know, there's one guy who decides to start spreading dynamite around the town, and toward the end of the novel, everything is just chaos. It's a very complex scheme intended to bring down the town and take something from everyone. I won't say more than that. The story, it's a thick book. It's 700 pages, just shy of 700 pages, 690 or something like that. Very long book, but very engrossing. I found myself going through it very quickly. You know, I typically only get through about 50 pages a day. I was doing 100 pages a day or more on this book. I was so engrossed, and it just moved along so well. So very well written. I gotta give it, I can't give it a top tail though, because there are some issues I have with it. And everybody's heard this before. The ending. Stephen King I've heard many people say how Stephen King endings are not very good, and until this book I had never encountered that. Personally, I've liked the endings of Carrie and The Shining and Salem's Lot, The Dead Zone. I didn't have problems with it, but this one, it's like King really was interested in setting up all this mayhem, and once he was there, once he reached the peak of that, he really didn't care about writing the ending. It feels like, yeah, I don't know that for sure. Maybe he thinks the ending of this is brilliant, but it feels rushed. It feels too easy. It could have been a lot more dramatic. Even just keeping the ending the way it is, but just putting more into it to make it, to give it more tension and give it more drama, instead of feeling like such an easy way out for everything. So because of that, I can't give it I can't give it 5 stars. I can't give it a top tail rating. This is a step below the other books that I've read by King so far. But by no means is this a bad book. It was very enjoyable, very cool, very wild, you know, very gross, very interesting. I really, really enjoyed it. I can just see how it could have been even better. So I guess I am recommending it, even though I'm not going to give it a top tail. I mean, top tail is reserved for those books that I can stand in front of the camera here and tell you, this is a classic. This is a book everybody should read. I can't do that here. It's not quite there. King wrote better books than this. If you're a Stephen King fan, or if you're a fan of just pure craziness and mayhem, go out and read this book. If you don't like gore, if you're not really a fan of King, if you prefer something more along the lines of like Poe or Lovecraft, then Needful Things probably isn't for you. That's my recommendation, and I hope you will subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, leave comments of what you thought of Needful Things, or what you thought of anything I've said here. And come on back for more. There's going to be more Stephen King. I'm reading It in October. Big book. That's my next buddy read with Samantha. We're going to cool the buddy reads until October, and then we're going to tackle It. And I have a lot of other great things coming up for October, and great things coming in September. So come on back and see them. Also check out our website. I'm always adding bibliographies. I'm working on Ray Bradbury right now, which is probably why this brought Something Wicked This Way Comes to mind, is because I'm currently entering Bradbury's bibliography into the website. Check out our website. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see you in the next video.